Hello. Thank you, correct response. I'm very excited to be here, a little bit underdressed, but, you know, I'm here for the talent, mate, not the looks. I am currently having some issues with my wife, to be honest with you. I mean, I love her very much, but I'm having an argument because I don't want to take our kids swimming. And I don't know if that's a problem for anyone else. It's not because I don't want to take them swimming. It's because I don't want to take my top off in public. Do you know what I mean? I've got my torso is rank. I think it's fair to say. I said to my wife, I do not want to take these kids swimming. I don't want to take my top off. You know what she said to me? Just wear a T-shirt. Oh, yeah, that'll distract any attention, won't it? One moron in the corner of the pool, wet T-shirt, clinging to his torso. So, just fine, this helps me glide through the water, yeah. Unbelievable. My mum's always having a go at me about it. You're fatty, fatty. Right, and... Horrible, this woman. Said to her, I've lost some weight. She goes to me, yes, but turn to the side. Disgusting, right? I've got a hang-up about it. I think sort of my level of unattractiveness and my putting on weight is one of the main reasons I've never cheated on my wife. It's not the number one reason. The number one reason is because I love her very much, but a close second is lack of opportunity. Got 3 children, massively regret it. But what can you do? You just got to go, I'm never going to be happy now. Just... My wife looks after our 3 children. That's her main job. That's what she does. And it's 2016, but my wife still feels like she's got to justify herself to me. I don't understand why. I know how difficult it is to look after those children. I spent 2 hours with them when she went out shopping once, right? It was like a tripled-pronged attack on my sanity, right? It's like they planned it. It's like one of them went, OK, you go over there and take a poo in that corner. You take a wee in that corner, and I'm just going to get butt naked for no reason. I go to the cinema a lot. I go to cinema on my own. I think popcorn's a rip-off, right? It's not just the fact that it's expensive. It's the fact that they price it incrementally in a way that you are forced to buy more of it than you'd ever want or need, right? And they treat it like rubbish. They don't care about it until it comes to you paying for it. You go up to the counter, I say, I'll have a medium popcorn. I'll have one of those little boxes there. And they go, certainly, sir. That will be £5.80. £5.80. It's all over the floor, mate, right? You're wiping your forehead with it as you serve it. I just saw you fill the cabinet with it from your trousers, right? There's wheelbarrows full of it all around us. The foyer is made of it. And you're telling me it's £5.80. Well, yes, it is, sir. But for an extra 20p, you can have 10 times the amount of popcorn. How can I buy a medium then, mate? There's absolutely no way. I'm locked in. I can't buy a medium now. I'm strapped in, mate. Give me the rucksack. There's no way I can buy a medium now, because I don't want to be that idiot that walks into the theatre with a medium and everyone else going, oh, my God, look at this moron. You got the medium. It's only 20p more, idiot. I'm swimming through popcorn like Scrooge McDuck over here. I went to Sri Lanka to try and get in touch with my culture, right? And the problem that I've got, which is I can't speak the language, right? But I look like I definitely should be able to, right? So I'd walk through the streets of Sri Lanka and someone would come up to me and go, "Ba-da-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-da," and I said, I'm really sorry, mate, I barely understand Geordie. I mean, there's... One of my uncles introduced me to his wife. He brought over sort of this slightly portly woman. He said to me, Ramesh, this is my wife. I said, sweet. And then he went, fat, no? And then I looked at his wife and she was going, yeah, fat. And then I realised my mum's not horrible. They're all horrible, mate. That's how it is. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You've been absolutely amazing.
Of course, I've got to get my wife something nice. A lot of husbands in here. What we're gonna get? What we're gonna get? Our wives, yeah? I've been with my wife, as I say, 17 years. No surprises, she's not interested anymore. I say to her, have you got any hints? Any hints for Christmas? Any hints? She gives me very, very specific instructions. Well, there are these shoes, write it down, these shoes I like, okay? It's called ballet pump. Okay, write it down. It's a ballet pump. What is it? What's that? Doesn't matter. Write it down. It's a dusty pink. You don't want just a normal pink. Just write it down. It's a dusty... I'll write down the name of the shop. This is the name of the shop. Okay? There's a woman there. It's in Marylebone. Write it down. Her name's Helen. Ask for Helen. I've actually put it aside. It's paid for. All you have to do, Michael, look at me, is pick it up, okay? Christmas Day is just her opening presents going, correct? Correct? No more surprises!
Those moments in life when you feel glad to be alive. I had one recently. I was in an elevator in America with my mum, right? And I was quite depressed. I just read this story. Apparently Tesco no longer sell curved croissants. We only sell straight ones. Because enough people wrote complaining they struggle putting jam on curved croissants. That is a thing. As a nation, we have been defeated by bendy bread. It's off the scale of stupid, just dear Tesco, not being funny. Going like that. Suddenly there was jam on the table, so... How can you be that? Help, Tony, it's happening again! It's happening! So, I was in this elevator, a bit depressed, and then this woman started laughing. Just here, really deep, here. And I said, why are you laughing? And this woman looked at me and went, Sugar, has anyone ever told you you look like Ellen? And you've never heard like everyone in the elevator, here. My mum was like, she's got a point, Russ. You look like a powerful lesbian. My mum lives for those moments. Lives to embarrass me. Now that I'm famous, she loves it, right? We were in a traffic jam the other day in a car. This bloke got out of this car, knocked on the window, went, excuse me, can I have a photo? Now that's fairly strange. Do you know what my mum did? She genuinely went, help! He's kidnapped me! Don't applaud her. I said, quite reasonably, what'd you do that for? To which my mum went, because I'm 57. I don't care. Brilliant, isn't it? I miss my childhood, you know. Not all of it, obviously. I don't miss the recorder. If you went to school in the 90s, the hours, and you've never needed that at a party. You've never, this is a bit flat. Just a girl in the corner, oh, yeah. Do you know Little Donkey? You know I do, baby doll. I also don't miss, remember that creepy thing girls did at school? Pick a number, pick a colour, pick a number. What voodoo sorcery is this, Linda? Pick a number, pick a colour. Red, R-E-D, number! All right. 3, 1, 2, 3. Everybody hates you. But I do. I miss my childhood. Do you know, because as an adult, you have to plan fun, you know? As a kid, it just arrived. Do you remember the first time you saw a rainbow? Do you remember that moment? It's in the back of the car. Dad, there's colours in the sky. Well, that's a rainbow, son. It has a name. Not only that, Russell, there's a pot of gold at the end of it. It's guarded by a tiny leprechaun. Pull over right now, Dad. Me and my brother got on our bikes. Did anyone else do that? Rode to try and get the gold? Bet you didn't do this. We took a knife just in case the leprechaun acted up. How different would my life have been if I bumped into a tiny Irish man that, where's the money, leprechaun? I come from a very silly family, right? Our favourite game to play is the mirror game. You have to play. It's really simple. It's like your dad might say something suggestive, so Dad might go, God, that back door's a bit stiff, and you go, mirror. Right? Let's do one now. Who wants a juicy sausage? Really simple. We've been playing this game for 20 years. Does my mum understand the rules? No. Does it stop her from joining in? Absolutely not, my friends. This is why I was lucky. I was raised by such a joy monkey. I said to her recently, do you want a cup of tea? And my mum went, meow. You didn't get me, did you, you fabulous dumpling? Let's do this. It has to sound rude, but not be rude. How can a cup of tea possibly be rude? And my mum looked at me and went, I don't know, Russ. You could pour it up your bum. If you're lucky enough to be raised by a woman that fantastic, it's a treat to take her places. I took her to a premiere recently, which is kind of a bit of a thing to show off, but I took her to premiere because my sister was in a film. So we kind of went, I had to buy my mum a handbag. That was the first 5 long hours. In the end, I just went, right, here's my cash card, here's my PIN number, you get it. Well, how much am I allowed to spend? I don't know. How much is a handbag worth? Well, how much do you think it's worth? I don't know, should we say 500 quid? Yes, we shall. You know what she did? She bought a handbag for 200 quid, went to the cash point and took out the other 300. We get to the premiere, right? We have our photo taken. That's one of the funniest things. All the paps are there. Normally what happens, the lady celebs, they do this lovely thing when they kind of walk up and they do the Sedgwick like that and off they wander. Nobody had taught Mum to do that. So what did she do? She just ran at them like that. It's like watching a Yorkshire pudding move carrots out of the way. I'm sat there next to this woman I adore, and my little sister is on the silver screen. My heart is beating with pride. It's beautiful, you know? And then it happened, my friends. Halfway through that film, my sister starts getting it on with an old man. Now, I don't know if you've ever sat down and drawn up a list of things you don't ever want to see. But I would argue at the top of that list will be watching your sweet angel of a little sister get off with a pensioner when you sat next to your mum. And my mum looked at me and went, Meow.
Very, very nice to be here. I feel so at home in England, even though I'm not English, because I have to tell you why. I've been married to an Englishman now for 23 years. Yes, it is. It's a long time. The other day I asked my husband if he wanted to renew our vows. He got so excited because he thought they had expired. My mother gave me some very good advice about staying married for a long time. She said, you must accept the other person for who they are and pretend they're someone else. They've been married forever. They passed their gold and silver anniversaries. Their next one is rust. I love being married because it's so great to find that one special person you want to annoy for the rest of your life. And since we've been married for 23 years, let me tell you, I'm getting on his nerves quite a bit. At least 3 times a day, he turns to an imaginary judge and says, and that's why I killed her, Your Honor. He says I use his razor to shave my legs, and I don't. I use it to shave the dog. Women, I think we say we're wrong more than men, don't you think? I say I'm wrong all the time. You know why? Because I don't care. I'll say it now. You want to hear? I'm sorry, I was wrong. I'm sorry, I was wrong. I can say it all day. It makes no difference to me. I know I'm right. Because then you don't listen, and women, we listen too hard. We hear things you're not even saying. You look tired. Are you saying I look fat? I think women were more self-sufficient than men, don't you think? If a woman is thirsty, she gets a drink. If a man is thirsty, he says, I'm thirsty. And he waits for something to appear. I think men and women, we react differently to situations. If a woman sees a mess, she cleans it up. If a man sees a mess, he announces it. Rita, the dog just threw up at the top of the stairs. Okay, I'll be there in a second. Try not to do anything about it. We always have pillow fights. I don't mean we throw pillows at each other. We have fights about why there are so many pillows on the bed and why he's not allowed to put his head on any of them. But I've explained it to him. I've told him these are decorative pillows. These are not pillows for sleeping. These are pillows for show. And he says, yes, Rita, but we are the only 2 people who go into the bedroom. Who do we do the little pillow show for? And I have to be honest with you, I don't really know. I only know that I love my pillows. And I have to do the show. And I know I've been telling you all about our arguments, but we do get along so well. We are so close, we don't even have to talk anymore because we know what the other person is thinking. Sometimes I'll just be lying in bed and he'll roll over and whisper in my ear, you're wrong. And I don't care, because I know I'm right. And sometimes he'll be lying there and I'll whisper in his ear, Pick up your head. That's a decorative
Just
pillow.
manners. We're having a nice day. What a fabulously trendy city Dublin is. Very smart. It's quite a metrosexual vibe I've noticed out there on the streets today. Do very much like that. I'm a metrosexual. Bow, 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 bow. I'm a busy metrosexual. Bow, bow, bow. My jeans are so tight. Where do I put me balls? You do the maths. Bow, 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 bow. You're savvy. You know as well as I do that the metrosexual is simply a man who's at ease with both his masculine and feminine aspects, and he's the metrosexual. It's nothing new. I remember when I was about 15, in fact, I fell head over heels in love with the girl who played the keyboards in the band Hanson. And, turned out to be one of those pesky metrosexuals. Quite a dark point in a 15-year-old boy's life, I don't mind telling you. Being caught masturbating to Umbop. On every conceivable level, that's wrong, isn't it? If I look a bit tired, if I look a bit boggy around the eyes, I'll level with you, because I like you, I'll be honest. I'm absolutely shattered. The reason being, me and my missus currently have a toddler. I'll rephrase that, because that really sounds like we've stolen it. It's our baby, grew into a toddler, so I've not slept for 2.5 years. Good evening. The ageing that happens to you when you have a child, it just ravages you. Last week, a new all-time low, I found a grey hair around my bum hole. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah. I'm not going to tell you quite how I found out. Suffice it to say I was tricked. Certainly looked like a doctor, thinking back. You know, he had a long coat on, kind of calming demeanour about him, warm hands. By the way, it was a busy pub. It doesn't matter. Let's not dwell on it. When a little boy, our son was born at home. Was anyone in the audience born at home? Yeah, it's not that common, is it? It's quite rare. I thought we should probably have the baby in hospital, but my Mrs. Helen, she was adamant about having a home birth. She tried to convince me by taking me along to these things called NCT meetings, where we met other people who were having home births. Now, I didn't want to prejudge these people, but they tended to be a little bit too la-di-da for my liking, a bit too inclined to share far too much information about the downstairs bits and bobs when you've just met. That's quite awkward, isn't it? I'm in this lady's kitchen. I've been there 5 minutes. She's already informed me, out of nowhere, that she's got polycystic ovaries and an inverted birth canal. Thank you, right? And the men were worse. The men were kind of overly on board, like, oh, hello, hi. Yeah, my name's Rupert. This is my wife, Hermione. She's an Earth mother. And, yeah, we decided not to have our baby in a hospital. No, because we're a couple of wankers. And, yeah... We're really relaxed about the whole thing. It's totally natural. And when the baby pops out, we're having 3-bean chili with placenta and wild rice. Everyone okay with that? It wasn't like that in the end for us at all, thank goodness. My Mrs. Helen, she's from Sheffield. She's old school. She's working class. She was born at home. I'll be honest with you, she was licked clean by a pack of whippets in front of the gas fire. OK, it's pretty normal where I'm from, but obviously not here. Fair enough. We're currently potty training. I'll be honest with you, potty training is the most surreal experience of my entire life. It's unbelievable. It's utterly surreal. It's like having a lovely, friendly, successful, self-made billionaire just confidently striding around your house. Just happily pissing and shitting wherever he sees fit, as far as I can tell. Just randomly, just emptying his bowels all over the shop. Pick that up, dickhead. That's your job, not mine. Utter freedom, unbelievable. I came down for breakfast the other morning, right, and he's in the living room, and he dressed himself. Now, I love it when a toddler dresses themselves, because the outfits are always spectacular, ladies and gentlemen, and it certainly did not disappoint. I'll run you through it. It's a cracking look. You'll all be wearing it next season, right? Stood there, confident as you like, completely naked, utterly Billy Bollocks as the day he was born, except for a pair of tiny shoes and socks. Now, that is a cracking look. That is a cracking look on any toddler. Let's be honest, that's a confident look on any human being, isn't it? That's all I need for my day's activities. Enjoy. I can accelerate, I can turn, I can brake, and I can move, but what's more, I've got ultimate freedom of movement. There we go. Once again, that's yours, dickhead. Pick it up. And he stood there, right? He stood there in the middle of the living room with his belly sticking out like a businessman having to piss behind a tree on a golf course, right? Bold as brass, piddling against the television. Like that. Morning. So a quick piss against the old television there. Glad I wore the shoes. It's an absolute river this morning. There's also a significant amount of urine in the skybox. You'll probably find that out when you turn that on. And what else? Oh yeah, there's also a turd behind the sofa. Now, I'd get onto that pretty quick if I were you. A few flies gathering out, so chop time is pretty much the essence. And he's just stood there wanging it, bold as brass, and then like 2 boiled eggs and soldiers, please, Dick Splash. I'll carry on with this. It's insane. It's utterly insane. Madness. And things have had to change. I didn't realise it. I have a role now. I know who I am. My job now is to work, to earn money, to buy things, and watch them get utterly destroyed. That's my life now. That's my life. I'd spend all the money I didn't have in the world on a finance deal on a reliable family second-hand diesel estate car, right? We've had it 2 months and it is completely trashed, right? Now, the interior, if you've ever been in a family person's car, is horrific. It's like a wheelie bin with an engine, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Just rotting vegetable matter all over the place. There's actually a topsoil developing behind my back seats, I'm sure of it. And there's always 3 things I can guarantee will always be in the back of this car. There'll always be a baby's book, right? There'll always be some tin foil off some homemade sandwiches because you've got no money left, right? And there'll always be a spoon with some crusty, dry yoghurt on it. Now, if I get pulled over for speeding, they'll think I'm a crack addict with a low reading age, ladies and gentlemen. All the evidence is there, Sarge. He clearly burns up on that spoon and then reads, "That's not my lion, that is tragic behaviour." But you have to make change. My life's not about me anymore. I like that. We have responsibilities now. And we had a big move a few months ago. We were living down in London, in South East London. It was incredibly violent, very expensive. And my Mrs. Helen decided we were going to move. It was getting too violent. So she looked at the crime stats, decided we were going to move from South East London to a tiny little village in the Peak District. Right, because apparently there's marginally less gang-related gun crime in the Peak District villages than there is in South East London. Now, it's only when you look at the figures that this really leaps out at you, right? It's not without its problems, obviously, like anywhere. We had a cow tipping last weekend. That's not been solved. Got me suspicions who did it. Well, it was me. Fuck it, I was pissed. But they'll never take me alive. But I think it's boring in all the right ways for raising a family. You know, there's a little kind of little nursery school, little primary school. There's a big retired population, inevitably more old ladies than there are old men, because women outlive men in the latter stages of life, don't you, girls? So exactly. So what I'm saying in a roundabout fashion is, if we have got any 75-plus single men in the audience tonight, seriously, lads, get yourselves over to the Peak District, fellas. It's like the Pussycat Dolls Cocoon Edition over there. It's phenomenal. You like the smell of talc, fill your boots. That's what I say. Get in there. But we've made friends. We have made some really good friends over there. Bill and Margaret are next-door neighbours, and they're both in their 70s, right? But they've become our best friends. I was never expecting it. It's been a lovely relationship to see it develop. We got invited to a wedding, having just moved to this village. That's where I met Bill. Now, someone got out an iPhone. Now, I had no idea that it had iPhones in the Peak District villages. I was blown away by this. And this fella started playing a game called Monkey Shaker. Now, I believe it's an app you can download. It's called Monkey Shaker. It's basically a game where you get 10 seconds to do this as many times as you can, right? Yeah, now, obviously, you can do this at home on your own or at a wedding with total strangers, right? I don't know where to look. Everyone starts laughing, so I just lose the plot entirely. The phone makes its way down the bar, right? Everyone's knocking out scores of between 50 and 60, right? It comes to my Mrs. Helen, pressure on. She knocked out a tidy 57. I was proud of her, right? Phone comes to me, I knocked out 68, but then again, I've had considerably more practice than Helen has, especially since the baby arrived, but that's another story altogether. Now, let's not dwell on that. But then I became acutely aware that I was about to hand a wanking game to a pensioner, ladies and gentlemen. I needn't worry. Bill just grabbed it straight off me and went, "Here we go, let's get stuck in there. There we go. There we go." Oh, dear. 23. A lot of arthritis in the elbow. I'm not what I used to be, right? I'm on the floor pissing myself. I can't believe these people are so old but still having so much fun. I turned to Bill and said, "Bill, what is the secret? You guys are still having an amazing time." Margaret grabbed the phone, knocked out 70. Bill went, "There's one of them right there, sunshine." Ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you. I've been Rob Rouse. Good night, lots of love. Cheers, thank you.
Goes to sleep because she's tired. She's tired. She works hard. She's a mother, and that is very, very difficult, especially at Christmas. She tends to fall asleep before me because I'm not tired. I'm up watching the telly. I don't know what goes on in your relationships. Sometimes you go to sleep at the same time, which is very, very rare. There tends to be some cuddling. It's how it's supposed to be, isn't it? Cuddling. I love you. You have to reassure there's love still in the marriage. I love you. And you're very much cuddling each other, but your arm is trapped. You realise you can't sleep like that. There comes a time when you have to go, "As much as I love you, darling, I need to remove my arm is trapped." sorry. And I have to roll away. You have to roll away to a sleeping position. Which really is as far apart as each other as it's possible to get. I love you, but now it is time for me to roll away for sleep. To be honest, she normally initiates the roll away. Okay, that's enough. Go on, off you go, darling. I'm tired. Go on, off you go. Over to your side now. Over to your side. As you get quite old, you actually roll away, and then you go down the corridor to your new room. That is a depressing development in the relationship. But she tends to go to sleep before me, and I watch the telly and stuff. So I'm an observer of a sleeping person, my wife. And I have to say, it's very odd how we always start off the night in the perfect sleeping position, don't we? We always start as we hope to go on. Head on the pillow, duvet comes in. It's the perfect sleeping position. Because during the night, your body goes into every position you can actually get it in. But you don't start like that. You don't go, good night, darling, and immediately go. You start perfectly. And I see how the perfect position dismantles. Because I'm watching the telly. My wife says good night. She goes to sleep in her perfect position. Within a moment, the leg comes out here. Mouth sort of flops open. The arms up here. Breathing on me. Even though I've seen her brushing her teeth 10, 15 minutes earlier. The breath is already slightly on the turn. I'm wedging pillows in front of her face. And sometimes at the beginning she does that weird jolting thing that nobody quite knows what it is. When she suddenly just wake herself up. Michael, are you right, darling? Oh, that was so weird. Oh, I thought I was falling. Well, you're not falling, darling. If anything, you're too much on my side. You should be closer to falling. Go on, go back to sleep, darling. I love you. And off she goes into a perfect position. But then within moments, she drops off. The leg comes back up. And mumbling as well. I don't know who she's talking to. She mumbles in her sleep. It's not a language, not English. She argues with herself in tongues. I don't know what. You come at me with that? What? I don't know. Really? Sometimes her eyes pop open in my face. It's like a horror movie. I look over and she's like, hey. Are you awake, darling? I don't know. What? The only time she smiles sweetly, and I regret saying this, is when the night farts kick in. Now look, I'd like to say that my wife is a very prim and proper person. And she hasn't actually farted in the daytime in the 17 years we've been together. And it's a record we're both very proud of. But I'm here to tell you, unfortunately, her night record is not nearly as strong. They do pop out. It's biology. They have to pop out. But it tends to be when I'm watching telly. And she reacts to them as well. She's like, I don't know. Oh! I don't know. I don't know what she'd eaten the other night. But it was like a fireworks display. It sort of built to a finale. She was like, Then one big one, and then she woke herself up. What was that, Michael? There was a bang. Darling, go back to sleep. Everything's fine. Seriously, what was that? Oh, my God. Why is the window open? What's been going on here? What time is it? It was a bang. I heard a bang, Michael. Why is the lamp on the floor? Why are you holding the Febreze? What's been going on?
Come on, Manchester, you know you want to say, So it's lovely to be here. Any fellow short people in? Yeah, I don't mind. I'm cool with it. I'm out and proud. I'm 4'10". I know. It's quite small. I don't mind, it's fine. Well, I was a bit worried the other day when I checked the labels of my clothes and there was a ladybird. That's not sexy, is it? This is a beautiful theatre, this is lovely. I actually, I don't normally play places like this. Well, I do, but it's in the foyer. I've got a really good agent. And I thought I was going to miss my bit tonight because I was in the ladies' toilets before the show. We had a bit of a queue. What a nightmare. I said to this one woman in the end, I said, can I go next, you know, because I'm on. That tends to move it along. It's all pressure, isn't it? I don't need any more pressure. I feel like I've got enough pressure in my life, thanks very much. 5 portions of fruit and veg a day. Who's doing that? We're supposed to have 5 portions of fruit and veg a day. We're supposed to have 3 litres of water. Who's got that kind of time? And going to work. I can't do it. I'm really stressed out because I am really, really trying to be healthy, right? This is the year I'm going to be healthy now. I've started to have an egg in the morning. Is that good? It's a Kinder egg. Now you're with me. I just like to assemble something first thing in the morning. It's a real sense of achievement before you even leave the house. It's like, look at that, it's not even 9:30 and already I've made a purple plastic monster. I worry that I'm overachieving. I think I might be a gifted child. Don't worry, I know you're all looking at me going, does she really have a Kinder egg in the morning? Is that why she's so small? I don't have a Kinder egg every day, that would be expensive. I haven't got that kind of cash. Some days I have a Cadbury's cream egg and a Kit Kat for soldiers. Anyone of Irish descent in the room? My parents were both from County Kerry. They're not alive anymore, and they were both from Kerry. And they left Ireland in the 1950s, and they moved to Birmingham because the boat to Manhattan was full. My mum used to ring me up nearly every day, and she'd ring me up and she'd be like, "Hello," because she was half Irish, half pigeon. Actually, my dad was half Irish, but he preferred to be called Gaelic. He was half Gaelic, half Italian. He was an Italic. We were never that close. He kept leaning away. It's funny when your parents go, you think about them all the time. And I have to say, in the whole of the 40 years I knew my mother, right, she never ever once believed I was warm enough. That's why I'm wearing all these layers. My mum had a catchphrase, "Put a vest on under that, Josephine. Put a vest on under that, she'll perish with the cold. Put a vest on under that, Josephine. Why'd you do it to me? Why'd you do it to me? For the love of all that's holy, put a vest on under that." I'm like, "Mum, it's a bikini." I'm not sad about it because she lived into her 80s, which is incredible. My dad, too, lived into his late 70s. I'm amazed by that because they smoked all the time. Yeah, in the 70s. Can you remember the 70s? Some of you, I'm sure, in your 40s. I was a kid in the 70s growing up. Remember when people used to smoke in the house? Unbelievable when you think about it now. You can't even smoke in pubs. In our house, the living room was so, so full of smoke. I didn't even know I had a dad. I thought it was from a single-parent family. Then someone opened the window and I was like, "Oh, yeah." I don't mind, you know, I'm 42 now, I'm not afraid of getting old, I don't mind. I love old women, I think they're incredible. I met a lovely old lady on the bus in Birmingham the other day. You know when you meet these women, and they are very inspirational because they're still going the high street, they're still putting on mascara, which is more than I can do some days.
And I met this woman and she was so old. Do you know the sort of women I mean? You know, you can't actually believe they're still alive, let alone going to the co-op.
I was at the back of the bus and I had my shopping on the seat next to me, and this old lady, God bless her, she walked all the way to the back of the bus where I was sitting, and she looked at my shopping and she pointed at my shopping and she said, could you?
I said, oh, you speak pidgin.
I took my shopping off the seat and obviously, and she sat down and put my shopping back on her lap. I'm kind, but I'm not Jesus. And this is an absolutely true conversation, right? She just turned to me out of the blue and she went, oh. I said, you're going to need a verb in that sentence.
She said, oh, you have a lovely face.
I was quite embarrassed. And I love the vocabulary of the elderly population.
She said, do you have a gentleman friend?
I said, sometimes.
She said, does he court you? Does he take you to Pizza Express?
And this was the most beautiful sentence. This is what stuck in my head.
She went, does he know the treasure he has? She said, because if he doesn't, my dear, she said, and this is where she got rather indignant, you know. I thought she was going to have a stroke. She said, if he doesn't, my dear, she said, you could always become a lesbian.
It's always good to watch a long-haired guy dancing. God, how long can he keep that up? Quite a while. Love it when you're listening to lyrics and you realize, oh, this song is a little dirtier than I thought. I was at a reggae festival back in Canada where I live with a friend of mine's 11 or 12-year-old daughter on my shoulders. Giving the old, good tune, we'll go get some popcorn soon. And the song was, you may know the song. Girl, I'm going to make you scream. Scream till you can't scream no more. And when you cry out, I'm gonna push it some more. Gonna put it in your big brown eye. Here's your child. We didn't get popcorn. You gotta come out to Canada. We love having you in Canada. There is nothing funnier than watching you step off a 10-hour flight and still run into French people. How far do we have to fly? How did the French get to Canada? How the fuck did that happen? Tell you how they got there. You beat them in a war and you let them live. That's what happened there, by the way. Only British people are that forgiving. Hey, thanks for the war. Nice to meet everybody. Take care of yourselves, fellas. Good job out there. Nice work. Very good work on your part. Very tricky. Tricky stuff. Tricky. I went out on a sea kayaking trip. Very exciting. Of course, you know, sea kayaking hand in hand with mushrooms. I don't know if you're a big mushroom crowd. But basically, yeah, it's camping in a boat and then you go get fuck-faced on mushrooms. That's basically what happens in the woods. Sounds like a few people have done mushrooms. One of the few drugs that no matter how high you are, for no reason you'll think, we better go talk to those police. I don't know if you've ever not realized how high you are until you've approached a cop car. I thought I was doing fine back there in the woods. Very paranoid. I saw some cops. This is a very Canadian story, but it's true. I saw some cops in a boatyard when I was hiding in the woods, and I thought I better go tell them I'm not a boat thief. And it wasn't until I got out of the woods and started walking across a dark field. I don't know if you've ever been there before. Ever been walking across a dark field on mushrooms looking for a cliff? be a cliff over here? It's just a curb. And I got right up to the car and realized right away, as soon as I could, hallucinate their heads coming at me and disappearing again, I was like, ah! I am way too high to talk to the cops. But of course, by that time I was too close. I don't know if you've ever done that where you approach the cops and you think, I'm too high to talk, but you don't want to go, nothing! Never mind! It's like, ah! Ah! But I panicked only to a point. I'm still proud of myself, Manchester. I realized as I was talking to these cops, I thought, dude, you're way too high to maintain a long conversation right now. You're going to have to say something really quickly, and it's got to make sense, and then you got to get out of here, and that's all that can happen to save your ass. I'm still proud of myself, Manchester. I looked these cops in the eye and said, I think I saw a man stealing a boat, and then walked away. And they put it in gear and went looking for a boat thief. I kid you not. Thanks for the tip, fella. Get those eyes looked at. Take care of yourself. Amazing to be in this city, Manchester. Famous city, of course, great for comedy. Tough town. I remember when I first came here and saw about 25 security guards guarding a convenience store. Mentioned to my Mancunian friend, I said, it seems like there's a lot of security here. And he goes, yeah, it makes you think there might be a lot of crime. Now I live in the UK. Every time I go to Europe, they think I'm British. And sometimes it can be phenomenal just to get an insight into what they think you are. Because they're terrified of you. I don't know if you know that on your little island, but they are shit scared that you're going to visit them. I mean, some places are fairly normal. If you get a chance, you ever go to Denmark, they love you. They basically smoke and drink and try and outdrink you. So that's a good thing, right? And they, of course, speak, if you've ever been around Danish people, it's hard not to just laugh right at them as they talk. Jesus, is that accurate? What's going on there? They make about 5 vowel sounds that involve their tongue having to leave their face by about 7 inches. Go there snowboarding, of course. That's where I come up with this. I'm a 42-year-old man that still embarrasses himself with that move. Because that's what the skeleton on my snowboard is doing. I've had it sting me in the arse a few times. I live in Devon, and I was out for a mountain bike ride. Middle of the night, got my big high beam on my helmet, cruising down a hill, and at the bottom of the hill I spotted a bunch of local kids, young guys who are really wicked at mountain biking. And as I went through them, I wasn't thinking of what I was going to do, but they were all like quick draws. As soon as I went past them, like 5 guys just go, yeah! And I kid you not, Manchester, spur of the moment, I went... The biggest loser move you can pull off in a heartbeat. Keep on trucking. I had to kick a badger to death recently. Have you ever had that insane a moment in your life? Felt horrible about it, but I didn't want it to suffer. That's where it was coming from. I don't want a badger to die. I certainly don't want to kick a badger to death. But for me, a dead badger is only slightly worse than a badger who is definitely gonna be dead. And isn't dead yet. I hit it with my motorbike. Felt horrible about it, because I know that, I in my head, I always get angry at other people. People I haven't met. People I don't even know when I'm driving along and I see a dead badger and I think, why don't people slow down? Why don't people steer? Why don't people learn to drive? And when I was in that headspace, I'm just like, bam, bam! Oh, fuck. Oh my God! Went back, I put my headlamp on and went back to look at it on the road, and of course he just give me one of those. And I don't know what you would do in that situation, Manchester, but it's a bad situation all round. There's no good in it, and all I thought is, I have to put this thing out of its misery, and I have to do it as quickly as possible. And I don't know if you ever in your life have had to wander around in the woods looking for a rock big enough to kill a badger with. And at the same time as I was trying to find a rock to kill a badger with, I was having all these images of rocks that I knew in my own life that would be really good to kill a badger with. I kept thinking, oh, that rock that I used to hold open the shed door, that would be amazing right now. But it's not here. And it's so insane because in Devon there's so much flint. If you're not on mud, you're on rock, and I couldn't find any rock. And I thought this is a problem in searches. I know this is a problem in searches where you're too specific. You don't need a rock to kill a badger with. You need anything to kill a badger with right now. You need a stick, you need a log, you need anything. So I downgraded my search and I was just like, I need anything to kill this badger with in a horrible way. And he's yelling over, finish what you started! Finish what you started! And I'm telling you right now, I don't know if anyone in this audience has had this same situation, but at one point, Manchester, I had to just say, dude, you're gonna have to kick this badger to death. Have you ever had to examine yourself for what kick would best kill a badger? I finally arrived at what I think is called a right heel hammer. I don't know if you've ever in your lives been in the woods underneath the cold moonlight kicking a badger to death. It was one of the craziest things I've ever been involved in. It was like an out-of-body experience that I've never, ever had before. Like, my brain knew that it had to happen, and my leg was doing it, but I didn't want to be there at all. It was one of those, ah! Oh, my God! Oh, my living Christ! Ah! This can't be happening! And just then, my neighbor came around the corner. You're kicking a badger to death. Maybe he was really badly hurt when I got here. I don't want to. For being the country that has given my life new life. Thanks for being a part of that, Manchester. Have a great night. Take care of yourselves. See you another time. Bye-bye.
Now, I'm a comedian. I make jokes. And when I see people in real life, sometimes I make a joke. And, you know, I like those moments, because they go, oh, that's funny. Oh, you're funny. You're funny in real life. I made a joke in the airport, and I thought it was funny. And this woman, she just tutted and rolled her eyes at me. Maybe it wasn't funny. I'm going to run it by you. Okay? It's in duty-free. You know, in duty-free, it's always very weird because they ask for your boarding pass, which is always an odd situation when you're paying for something. You know, you're in the shop, and you go, can I get this? And they go, can I see your boarding pass, please? You have to prove that you're flying on an aeroplane, even though you're in an airport. You have to go, yes, I am flying on an aeroplane. It's a very, I don't know what they're suggesting. That, you know, what's the accusation here? That I've driven to Gatwick Terminal North. I've parked in the long stay car park. I've taken a shuttle bus to the terminal. Then I've breached the most stringent security measures there's ever been without a ticket to fly, just so I can visit this pret-a-manger. Is that really what you think I've done? Do you have any idea how many pret-a-mangers I drove past to get to this one? No, not that one. I like the one at Gatwick. So anyway, I'm in this shop, and I thought I'd buy my son a little present, the token of being away, you know, gesture. So I'm in duty-free, and I got him this little plane, just a little toy plane, you know, little cheap rubbish, but, you know. I put it on the counter, and the woman said, can I see a boarding pass? And I said, I'm not getting on it. Now, that's not hilarious. But it's not a tut and an eye roll, is it? Yeah, well, you're my people. Now, I don't know how many parents we've got in here tonight, but long journeys are a lot better with children since the iPad. iPads, they're a real game changer for parents. They're like little magical devices, aren't they, that shut your children up at any time, day or night. It's amazing. My eldest, he wakes up at about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, he runs into our bedroom, morning! I'm like, not for me, and I just frisbee an iPad. Go on, off you go. 88% battery, I'll see you in at least 2 hours. I'm going back to sleep. Sit by the plug, charge it. I'll see you next Thursday. They're so lucky, children of today. They've got iPods and iPads and iPhones. In our day, we had I Spy. How awful was our lives compared to the lives of our children? How boring was I Spy? Something beginning with C. Is it car? Yes, it is car. Damn, your turn. How about if we include things inside the vehicle? I tried to play Thumb War with my son recently. I said, do you want to play Thumb War? He's 11. He's like, so I download it. No, you can't download Thumb War. This is a battle between my thumb and your thumb. So I showed him how to play it. You interlock hands like this and you jockey for position. You have to declare it. You can't go straight into battle. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare! Thumb. And then you sort of try and hold the other person's thumb down. I thought I'd go easy on him because I've got my big daddy thumb and he's got his little 11-year-old thumb. But of course I didn't realise he's been texting since he was born. He was some kind of thumb-worn ninja. I couldn't even see his thumb moving. He just kept beating me over and over again. Ah! Get off! Get back on the iPad! Ow! So how's your week been? I've been doing a little bit of admin. Quite boring, isn't it? Admin, paying bills. They won't accept that I'm me. I keep having to prove my identity for data protection to pay my electricity bill. I don't understand it. If someone is going to impersonate me and steal my identity and pay my bills, I would actually quite like that situation. I've asked them to make a note of it. Please allow that. I don't really see it as a crime. People in prison, what are you in for? I stole Michael McIntyre's identity and paid his Empower bill. I broke into his house and hoovered. Oh, how thoughtful. I tried to pay my gas bill, which was, well, you get straight through when you're paying a bill, don't you? Hello, British Gas, can I help you? I was like, I'd like to pay my bill, please. Can I take your reference number? They have to identify you from your number, which was at the top of the letter. I had it, but it seemed very complicated, and it had letters in it. You know, when it sort of goes on, too many numbers and letters for me to want to get involved with. And also, when you say letters, something happens on the phone. Because when you're in front of people and you say letter M, you all know I've said the letter M. There's no ambiguity over the fact that I've just said the letter M. On the phone, you go M, and they go, is the N for November? And you go, no, it's M for... And then you have to think of your own word beginning with M. But because you're not in the police force, you don't know the Alpha Bravo Tango thing. And under pressure, it can feel quite tense. M for... maniac! Anything seems to do. You feel so thrilled to get one out there. Mummy! I'm on a roll now. Mummy! Marmite! It happens with F as well. F, you go F, it's F. And they go, is that S for sugar? You go, no, that's F for Fandango! F for Fandango, sir. Yes, F for Fandango. Sometimes I like to throw them a curveball for my own entertainment. G for gnome, just to make sure they're paying attention. G for gnome, sir. Yes, G for gnome. So I said I don't have it. I didn't want to get involved in it. So I said, I don't actually have it. I don't have my reference number. Can you identify me by my name? They said, yeah, can I say your name then, please? Can I say your name, please? I said, it's Michael McIntyre. And sometimes when I say that, people recognise it. And I quite like it. I encourage it, if I'm honest. Can I say your name, please? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the phone, Michael McIntyre. Hello, But this woman, genuinely, she didn't care at all. She just said, is that an AC or MC? I said, it's M-C-I-N-T-Y-R-E, Michael McIntyre. She went, oh, like the comedian. And I got a little bit cocky and I said, yes, exactly like the comedian. She said, I don't find him funny, do you? Not like that, though. That's an outdated mime, isn't it? Younger people have no idea what I'm doing. I hung up the phone. I said to my children in the car the other day to roll up their window like that. I did it naturally. I went, roll up your window. We're on the motorway. You know when you open one window on the motorway, something happens to your brain. I don't know what... I feel this wind. What's happening to my brain? I was like, roll up your window! My son was like, Dad, there's something wrong with your arm. Every time you said that, your arm goes really weird, Dad. What's wrong with you? There are younger people looking at me like, what is wrong with your arm? Or it got a bit stiff sometimes, didn't it?